Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about a newer study that came through. It should be easy enough for people to find. I don't link studies in my videos for reasons I've covered in the past, but easy enough to find. I actually saw it on Minnow Hanselman's page, and it's something I have promoted for a very long time. It's something that we've seen everyone from Greg Knuckles to Paul Carter write about over the years of the idea of doing a heavy single before you do your volume work, right? And what the studies had found is that people were stronger on like their 10 rep sets if they did a heavy single with, at least 90%, right? But they tested them with around 90% one rep max on a lift to come in and do a single, one rep, and then come in and do their rep work. And again, what was generally found is that people could do slightly more reps, or with their 10 rep sets, do slightly more weight after doing this. And that's the funny thing. People will have this idea that, oh, if you come in and you do heavy singles, it fatigues you so much that it's costing you hypertrophy. Hey, this is excuses people use to not lift heavy. Like, well, we have to separate this out, and there's no reason. I hate this. Like, because almost anyone's a bodybuilder. Like, none of you guys are bodybuilders. 95% of people who call themselves bodybuilders are not bodybuilders. You're guys who like to work out. Okay? Training for hypertrophy, if that makes you a bodybuilder, then I'm a bodybuilder. Almost all my training is geared towards size. Even though I'm a power lifter. Okay? I diet and get relatively lean. Does that make me a bodybuilder? No, of course not. But I digress. That point aside, they'll say, well, there's no need for them to do that. Yet, because again, they're like, well, the risk of getting hurt. Really? You get hurt doing 90% on rep max? You get hurt doing heavy singles, there's a problem. You have an overuse issue, form issues. You just don't know what in the hell you're doing. Okay. But the idea people will throw out is, well, it's not necessary, and it reduces your total workload. It's wasting recovery on a heavy single. It's not even stimulating hypertrophy. Yet when we have studies that look at it, when we do a heavy single first, we're stronger afterwards on our rep work. Well, that's the thing. It makes us better at it. In other words, we've activated our nervous system, we've potentiated it. So when that happens, by doing so, what happens? We can recruit upper threshold motor units and muscle fibers easier. That means that we, in theory, have more hypertrophic potential from those heavy singles. They give us more out of our rep work. And I've always tried to tell people this. I've been saying it for a long time because it's anecdotally been noticed. We tend to be a little stronger for doing it, not weaker. So that means that coming in, doing a heavy single first, the start of a workout, because we only do one or two, and then you do all your volume. Well, when we do this, it's more efficient. Every set that we perform is slightly more efficient at stimulus. All right. It's kind of a big deal, isn't it? Because it means it will help with our hypertrophy. It also means that from a programming perspective, really training for strength produces more hypertrophy. Not because, when we say that, people say, oh, so you're telling people to do a bunch of heavy 3s and 5s. No, I'm not telling you to do that at all. True strength training is singles. Or people say, well, you think that just lifting heavy is going to automatically cause hypertrophy? No. for novices, not for the rest of us. But in this case, what's happening? It allows us to get more out of our hypertrophy work. It gives us the best of both worlds. Now, can there be more to deal with on the recovery side? Sure. That's why you probably need to limit it, because we're not getting more benefits in these areas by doing more heavy work beyond this. We started to eat into recovery for, we're going too much volume heavy. Come in and do 1 or 2 exercises for a heavy single. It's not really grindy. It's not an all-out max. Well, that's usually good for recovery. Should be fine. These days, it's the only way I squat and deadlift. Right? I don't come in and do volume on them. I do heavy singles if I'm not doing speed work. We get more out of each subsequent set after it. So in this case, it's not only the case of saying, hey, we shouldn't be separating size and strength. It's understanding that in the same workout, they have the potential to help each other. The real heavy strength training makes us better at our hypertrophy work. This has always been, or at least for a long time, the foundation of a lot of the training systems that I promote. Also comes back to that old idea of usually the biggest, strongest guys do heavy work than pump work. And when you do this, it's funny, people will say, oh, you're just promoting fluff and pump now, Jason. I've been promoting this for years and years, not now. It's all of a sudden out of nowhere. No. I'm telling you to do heavy work, then do the pump work. Okay, that's what we're talking about. We're not saying, oh, it's all just pump work. No. Understanding the synergy between the two, how they feed into each other. And every training system that I promoted usually involves starting the workout on a big basic movement of either going up to a training max for 1 rep, right? Or ramping up to a heavy AMRAP set, up to technical, right? We only go to close to technical failure, not true muscle failure. Or we do dynamic effort work. Then we do all the pump volume. And again, another study has been found showing that there's truth to this. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.